Hello everyone, and welcome to my latest review, in which I'll be talking about one of my favourite modern movies, that being 2012's Dredd. So without further ado, let's get into my thoughts on the movie. So the story is set in a post-apocalyptic America as crime runs rampant in a place known as Megacity 1. Law enforcement officers, who are called judges, act as judge, jury and executioner as they attempt to navigate the chaos that ensues. The opening scene, narrated by Karl Urban's Judge Dredd, is brilliant at showcasing how bad crime has become in the country. The great thing about the plot is how simplistic it is at its essence. It involves Judge Dredd and his office partner Anderson, played by Olivia Thirlby, trapped in an apartment block called Petries as they attempt to stop crime lord Mama. The action, which I'll get to shortly, is as a result not burdened with complex plot threads. The movie's tone is one that takes its scenario seriously, which makes sense when you consider the countless bodies being laid to waste. Having said that, there are moments of humour, particularly between Dredd and Anderson, which complements the larger stakes at play. Suspense is a running theme throughout the movie. This becomes more apparent once Peachtrees is under lockdown. The movie at this point becomes a war zone for the judges as they attempt to navigate Mama's army in the tower. Now, for anyone who knows the making of this movie, will know that it had a troubled production. The director initially brought onto the project was Pete Travis. However, following disagreements between Travis and the producers, it led to the former being locked out of the editing process, with writer Alex Garland taking over proceedings. It's certainly one of the most bizarre Hollywood stories you're likely to hear, but it's all true. Despite the disruptive road that this movie took towards completion, that thankfully does not show in the final version. The story moves along at a nice pace, as there were not many tonal inconsistencies that I spotted in the finished product. The action is fantastic. Director Pete Travis frames all of the set pieces with clarity and focus, always ensuring that we know what's going on at any given moment. The opening scene sets the tone for the movie as we see Dredd chasing down criminals on a highway. It establishes how the judges in this world take no prisoners over criminals. There's also a grounded approach to the action, as the judges use their weapons in a realistic way, albeit within the confines of a fictional world. Despite the strength that the judges possess, you never get the sense that they're going to make it out of the tower in one piece, which makes the action all the more tense. The movie was shot in South Africa, as it was refreshing to see sets and locations being used, especially in an age now where blockbusters tend to use green screens at every possible moment. Visually, I love how the slow-mo drug, the common drug that's being taken in Megacity 1, is shown on screen. It's a special effect that could have easily been annoying very quickly if the movie overused it. Thankfully, it's only used in key moments of the plot. The scene in which Dredd uses the incendiary mode on his weapon is a cheer-worthy moment, as it was gratifying to see him lay waste to countless criminals. The cinematography by Anthony Dodd Mantle is excellent, as the movie makes use of shadows and low-key lighting, which is believable given the setting of an apartment block. Karl Urban is the standout performer in the title role. He was born to play Judge Dredd, as he conveys all of the necessary qualities required for the character. From anger to rage, Urban expertly embodies the judge, jury, and executioner elements of his character. Urban has a tough task of not only being the lead character, but also expressing his character's emotions just through his mouth, due to the fact that Dredd never takes off his helmet. But he pulls off the task with ease, as he's a commanding presence whenever we see Dredd in action. The I am the law scene, in which Dredd sends a warning message to villain Mama, perfectly captures what makes his character so compelling, and that he does not compromise despite the threats that he's up against.
This block operates under the same rules as the rest of the city. Mama is not the law. I am the law.
Olivia Thirlby is great as Judge Anderson. She shares wonderful chemistry with Urban, as she more than holds her own in the supporting role. Thirlby shows a sense of vulnerability, particularly with her character's mutant powers. But at the same time, she's a total badass when she's involved with the action. Lena Headey is menacing as Mama. She avoids the villainous cliches by giving a performance that is subtle, yet terrifying all the while. Wood Harris, who some will recognise from his role in The Wire, is great as Mama's henchman, Kay. The straightforward evil nature of the character means that Harris is able to enjoy the role, delivering a twisted performance that is at home with his character's motivations. The soundtrack by Paul Leonard Morgan complements the movie. It's electronic and synth-heavy, but that definitely complements the intense nature of the story. In short, Dredd is a thoroughly entertaining movie. The plot is simplistic in its essence, which allows the action not to be burdened with complex plot threads. The movie is refreshingly self-contained, in that it tells a complete story without any tease to sequels or unwarranted post-credit scenes. The action is fantastic, as director Pete Travis frames all of the set pieces with clarity and focus. The acting is great across the board, from Karl Urban to Lena Headey. Finally, the electronic and synth-focused soundtrack by Paul Leonard Morgan suits the action-heavy tone of the movie. So I now hand it over to you as I want to find out your thoughts on Dredd. Do you agree with my thoughts on the movie, or did you have an opposing opinion? As I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.